What's good, people? Back with a quick one. We're going to kind of go through how to run webinars for your growth operator creators and how we do it as well. I mainly use webinars and live trainings for sort of the mid-ticket offers that we try to launch, kind of between the sort of $200 to $999 sort of range. But we also run them as well for high-ticket offers, just to educate people, and then the goal at the end is just to get people to book on the calls. But there's many different ways you can use webinars, and I feel like they're really coming back, coming into 2025. So it's a good time to sort of get ready, get using them, and build it up, ready for sort of the next year, because I think these are going to be very useful and very consistent as well. Webinars allow you to sell to many people at once. You can educate and qualify the audience at the same time, and it allows you to build a lot of trust as well. There's so much more positives of webinars, but just 3 simple ideas here. So the way my webinar system works is, first we have top of funnel. So you've got YouTube, X, you've got Instagram, you've got newsletter, TikTok, paid ads, and ManyChat. Obviously, there's so much more, but I try to sort of cram in as many things as I can. These are all top of funnel. These are everyone, we're kind of gaining the attention and bringing them into the funnel. And these are all the social medias, newsletters. Obviously, ManyChat is a system that we use for Instagram story frameworks and comments on Instagram and things like that. And we're going to use all of them to then nurture them through the DMs and take them into the webinar. I'm not going to go through the flows and the ad setup, for example, in this video specifically, but we will have separate videos on them. So if you want to check them out afterwards, feel free. This is just to show you exactly how we're going to use that traffic and take it straight into a webinar. So the goal is pretty much to have the traffic come in, top of funnel. The middle of the funnel, we're just going to nurture them, get them ready. Then obviously at the bottom of the funnel for this one, we're getting them on the webinar, and then finally, hopefully, making that sale. So getting all the traffic in, and we're taking all the traffic to an opt-in page. That's just going to look pretty much something like this. You can obviously change things around a little bit, add a few more features, take some away. But all in all, a webinar funnel is most of the time going to look like this. You're going to have a headline, some sort of timer until the webinar starts, and then a call to action. You're going to have what they're going to learn. You need to let them know. They don't want to come into this blind, because chances are they're not going to show up. So you need to really tell them and sell them on what they're going to learn in this webinar. Who is the creator? Sell them on the client. What are they turning up for? Who is this person? Why should you be learning from them instead of someone else? Why should you actually turn up and give them whatever it is, like an hour or an hour and a half of your time? So you need to kind of big the creator up here. And then finally, to help with that as well, you've got testimonials, results, case studies, whatever else. Add them in. It's going to give you so much more leverage and make people trust you a lot more. And then just another final call to action at the bottom. And that's it, really. It's as simple as it gets. You can, for example, build these out with custom values for an automated system. So what we do, the headline, the timer, everything is all done through custom values within Go High Level. Just because after the webinar, obviously we're going to start planning straight away for next week's webinar. And instead of going into the funnels, changing everything, editing different things, the different times, whatever, all you do is go into the custom value section and just change it in there. Change the date to the week after, and then it's going to change the full funnel for you without you having to sort of go in and change every workflow, every funnel, whatever. So we build out everything for our webinars using custom values. If you want to learn more about custom values, I'm sure you can learn that on the internet. I'll dive into it a little bit, but it's as simple as this, really. You're going to go in, add like webinar email, webinar logo, topic, description, date and time, webinar start date and time, and then you're going to fill in the information and you're going to change that over straight after the webinar is finished, so you're ready for the next one. And it's as simple as that. So you've got the traffic, you've brought them to the opt-in page. Obviously, some leads are going to be lost here, but hopefully people actually opt in. You can use trigger links and things like that as well. So if people don't actually click on the opt-in, or they click on the page, but they don't actually go through and opt in the webinar, you can follow up with them leads through SMS, through email. You can even follow up with them through Instagram DMs, through ManyChat and things like that. But next step is the thank you page, which is very important, because again, it's sort of an extra step to build the trust, nurture them a little bit more. And what we're going to do most of the time is add a YouTube video, usually the highest performing YouTube video, one of the highest performing YouTube videos about that niche from our creator. So whatever about that niche they're in, their best performing video will usually stick on this page, just to kind of let them watch it. It's going to usually be a bit more of a lengthy video, 15, 20, 25, 30 minute long video, because hopefully we're getting these people that have opted in to watch this video, just nurture them that little bit more, and it just gives you that a little bit more chance of them actually turning up to this call. You have the webinar link underneath as well, and let them know again the timer, let them know the date. You just want to make sure they remember that this is starting, and whatever plans they're going to make on that day are going to be cancelled, because they're now into this webinar, they're committed to it. So you just need to keep telling them the date, give them the link, give them the timer, So now if their friend says to them, oh, you're free on Wednesday at this time, they're going to say, no, I've got a training to attend, whatever it might be. So you need to make sure they're actually committed, and you need to add as much things in to nurture them to make sure that's the case. So they've committed, they've opted in, they've got the thank you page, they may or they may not have watched the video. Check the link. You can have some more information, some more case studies on here as well. It's up to you how you want to do that. Then you're going to go through the email and SMS. So there's a few examples here. First, you're going to send them a confirmation, SMS and email. That's very important. As soon as they've clicked the opt-in button, the call to action on here, and they've got sent you a thank you page, instantly they should be receiving an email and SMS straight away to let them know all the details, let them know what they've opted into, maybe just give them a little bit free value as well. And then you're just going to go through the sequence, some automations in there to give them some sort of more nurturing, more free value and things like that. Usually through email. I wouldn't send loads of text before the webinar because that's going to focus on the actual reminders. But you can tell them about the client. So again, social proof, things like that. Tell them about the client's story. Why should they attend? What they're going to get? Why is this so valuable? Some case studies, some results, things like that. Again, free value, case studies, results, who the client is, what the client does. You just want to be building this up, nurture them as much as you can, add in so much information, sending them emails every day until the webinar. And then you obviously also want to be sending them reminder texts and emails, which is very important, literally up until the minute of the webinar. And then when it starts, I would usually send another text or email just saying, we've just started, you've got kind of 2 minutes to jump in before we close the access, just to get them sort of last leads coming in because they forgot about it. So that's pretty much it for email SMS. I've kind of went through that pretty quick, but it is quite simple, really. The goal is to, 1, nurture them as much as you can, and then 2, just make sure they actually turn up by giving them all these extra reminders. You can literally do it 8 hours, 2 hours, then 10 minutes before, and then 1 minute into the webinar. Obviously, then days before as well, 24 hours before. You can just do as many reminders as you can, but don't be too annoying with it. But you want to make sure they are turning up to that call, no matter what. Then, next steps, the live training, the actual webinar. So this could be on, like it says, Zoom or Webinar Jam. There's a few different softwares, but just pick a software and go with it. It's not too big of a deal. Just find which one you like, have a look through them all, maybe just give them all a try, and then pick whichever one you want to use and go from there. Set everything up, make sure nothing's going to fall through as it starts. Make sure you've got everything, the back end all ready to go. You've got the plan ready, and then you can get started pretty much with releasing it. And then obviously for the start date, you're ready to actually go in and do the live training. On the live training, so there's a few things. You want to sell them on, 1, the vehicle. So that's the mechanism, the vehicle to solve their problem or method. So if you sell them on a dropshipping course, for example, dropshipping is the vehicle, dropshipping is the mechanism. You need to sell them on dropshipping. Why is it so good? Why does it make so much money? Just give them every bit of information about dropshipping. Next, you want to sell them on the person, our creator, our client. You want to give them their story. You want to make it as relatable as possible. You need the prospects to know and trust our client, our creator, what we're going to call them. Take them off the pedestal that the prospects might see them on. So they're going to see them way above themselves. Because if they've been watching these guys for organic content, they might even just seen a paid ad for the webinar. But if they're seeing this person above them, they don't feel that they can relate to them. They're going to think that's so out of reach. If this client, is making, 100k a month, and you're trying to sell this to someone making 2k a month, it feels so unreachable. So you need to bring them down, explain the client story, explain that they started off just like them, had a minimum wage job, they couldn't find a job, whatever it might be. Tell the truth, obviously tell their real story, and just make it so much more relatable. And then the goal is pretty much build the transformation, build the bridge from where they are now, where they were before to where they are now, and show the prospects that they can make that exact same transformation. They can go from where they are now to where they want to be, which is obviously where our client is, and they want to make that transformation. Finally, the most difficult, but still equally as important, sell them on themselves. So you want to use social proof, get rid of any doubts at all they might have, kill the objections, use someone that you might have worked with in the past who is in a similar position to them, and obviously just literally handle any objections that you possibly can by just selling themselves, selling the prospect on actually them. You're not just selling the story of the creator, you're selling the prospect their own story, You want to give them as much information about someone that was exactly in their shoes, whether it is the creator, which obviously falls under this, or it could be like a case study, a testimonial of someone else who's in the exact same similar position, and we've got them from X to X in this amount of time through the exact same thing that we're offering you. And that's kind of the three main things that you have to sell every prospect on, and that just gives them so much higher chance of actually joining and paying. And how are we going to do this? So our kind of framework for webinars, you're going to aim for 45 to 90 minutes. Obviously, the higher end, you're going to get more sales, but the lower end, you've got more chance of people actually turning up, watching the whole thing. So it depends on how you want to do it, but I aim to be kind of 60 to 90 minutes, but you can drop it a little bit lower if you wanted to. So you're going to start with a hook. Make sure they actually get in. The drop-off rate for webinars is crazy. The amount of people that turn up, and when they actually see the slides, they know what they're actually getting into. So many people drop off. So this is so important. You need to be telling them exactly what they're going to be getting here, what you're talking about, what this really is, and that, they're actually going to get free value from this. It's not just a waste of time. This, you need to just put everything into the hook. You need people to be staying through for, 90 minutes of their time. That's a lot of time. So just make sure you hook them in as much as possible. Then straight after, pain. How to overcome X, Y, Z, whatever they might be going through. Are they stuck in a 9 to 5, but they want to escape the rat race, get this financial freedom? This is where you dive into that and sort of tell them how to overcome that. Tease, again, it's a bit more like a hook as well, but you're going to tease them. At the end of this, you will learn X, Y, Z. What exactly they're going to get? What is the value of this webinar? Then we're going to go into excite. So tell them their dreams/goals. You're literally repeating back to them what you know about them. So tell them exactly what they want to hear at this point. Do you want to live in Dubai? Do you want to live in this place? Do you want to drive this car? Do you want to escape your job, live in your own time, have the freedom, whatever it might be? Make the 10k a month, 20k a month, 100k a month. Whatever their goals and dreams are, there's the point where you excite them. You tell them that it is realistic. From doing this mechanism, this vehicle, dropshipping, Amazon FBA, there's random examples, but by doing this, you can get to this goal as long as you put the work in. That's to excite them. Next, the authority. So, demonstrate why you or your client, your creator, are the best with case studies, results, testimonials. These can be videos, images, just kind of a slide deck with some information, different things like that. But you're going to just build as much authority as you can and just make them really believe and trust and be nurtured by you or the creator. Commitment. So, you don't want them to just come on this webinar, finish the training and go, oh, that was nice. Then jump off it and then maybe sign up for another webinar tomorrow for a completely different topic. You want them really to be committed to this. You want them to really use what you're showing them. So tell them that. Tell them that you don't want to be wasting your time and their time. If they've shown up and they've actually put the effort into watch up to this point, you want to make sure they're committing to this. So tell them that this is so important. You're going to leave them so much value here. And if they just are willing to commit to it, put a little bit of time into it, they will see results. And obviously the goal to get them to commit, because if they're committed to this and they actually pay full attention, then you've got so much more chance of selling them when you drop the call to action at the end. So it's so important. Next, paradigm shift. So this is the one thing that changes everything for them if they understand it. If they don't understand it, chances are they're not going to close. But this is the point where you're going to basically tell them that this vehicle, this mechanism, is the one thing that's going to change everything, change the mindset, the paradigm shift. The vehicle, so what would I focus on if I had to make the most people successful at XYZ offer? 3 to 5 areas: what, why, how. The mechanism, again, the vehicle, dropshipping, Amazon FBA, growth operating, literally could be anything. But what would I do? The 3 sort of steps to get you from A to Z within this offer. Again, commitment. So it's obviously, you might think this has been copied, but it's not. Just again, you need to reiterate that commitment, because you've got to remember, people are still watching this webinar. They're still halfway into it or whatever it might be. You need to make sure they stick through to the end, because there's no good getting them to this point because you've not dropped any CTA, any price, any offer to them yet. You just give them a bit of free value that realistically they're not going to use. So you've just wasted your time and their time. So this drops some more commitment. Make sure they're really going to stay in until the end. You want them to really use what you're showing them. Transition. So now it's time to sort of go through, recap everything. So today I've shown you XYZ. Now you understand XYZ. Just go through, explain the free value you dropped on them, everything you've shown them, everything you've helped them understand, and just break it down. You've not just gave them some basic information. You've really gave them that kind of behind the scenes extra value that if they're committed and put the work in now, they will get to their goals. Straight after the transition, you're going to drop the price with a call to action and leave it at that. Drop the price, so it'll sit there, and now it's time to kill the objections straight after that. So you've dropped the price, and then you're going to tell them, for showing up in this webinar, for showing up in this free training, whatever you want to call it, you're going to give them some bonuses. So here they are, and obviously I can't tell you what your bonuses are going to be, but drop some bonuses, and the goal for the bonuses is to kill all objections. And again, the bonuses help close them on the call, because they might be thinking, sounds interesting, this is cool, I might just show up to another webinar next week, I might DM on Instagram next week, and I might buy then. Chances are they're not going to. So the goal is to get them to buy right now. By dropping these bonuses, it's a one-time bonus. After this call, it won't be available. It's going to help, 1, kill all objections, and 2, make sure you get them over the line right now. Next, drop a guarantee. So a no-brainer. Money back guarantee. You don't pay me if I can't make you X amount. Whatever the guarantee might be, it's bringing in a no-brainer offer. Why won't they join? If they want to use this vehicle to get to success, they've got the time to do it, they've got the money to invest, and then there's a guarantee as well, then there's no reason for them not to. If you're going to make them, 10k a month, guaranteed, and they have the time to, they have the money to invest, them not doing that is literally so stupid. So chances are the guarantee is what's going to really push them into closing, and it has to be a no-brainer offer, so work really hard to get the best guarantee you can, but make sure it still makes sense for you, of course. Finally, build scarcity. So this could be quantity, date, or both. Stick to it. So if you say 10 spots, sell 10 spots. So it could just literally be, we've got this one-to-one mentorship. Book a call now. This could be the call to action of the webinar. And then whoever books in, you have 10 spots. Do not go over that. You can't say on the webinar, we've got 10 spots to go. As soon as these go, the webinar's off. No more calls, no more sales, whatever. And then take more calls and sell more. You have to stick to it, because otherwise you're going to lose complete trust and no one's going to get involved. You could do quantity or date. However you want to do it, just make sure there's scarcity. And that's pretty much it. That goes through sort of A to Z on the framework of the webinar. And this goes for every niche. This isn't just one thing that works for one niche. All webinars are kind of the same. It's a free training that's going to go through all these different things and finally sell them. And obviously the sale at the end could be either selling them directly on like a mid-ticket offer, or pushing them into kind of a call for a high ticket offer. Either way, it still works. Now, if they don't show up to this live training, or they watch the live training and don't purchase, you might be thinking they're lost leads, but no. You then follow up with automations through Go High Level, using things like trigger links to see who's clicked on the video, who hasn't clicked on the video, who showed up to the video but didn't make a purchase. This is all done through trigger links and workflows within Go High Level. So if someone doesn't show, you're going to take them straight into an email follow-up sequence to try and sell them. If they showed but they didn't buy, you've kind of got two options. You can take them straight into an email follow-up sequence, or for like kind of high ticket, or even like higher end of mid-ticket, or whatever you want it to be. If you're committed and you really want to sell every single lead, you could have an setter in place who's going to call every lead who showed up but didn't buy. I mean, you could call the people who didn't show at all, but you're going to have a lot harder chance. But if people have sat and watched the whole video but they didn't purchase, chances are if you get a setter to call them, you're going to get so many more leads actually closing. So I would recommend doing that. But if you've got tons and tons of leads, obviously that won't be possible. So again, you can take them straight into an email follow-up sequence. And I would definitely separate these. I wouldn't have the email follow-up sequence be the exact same for no shows and show didn't buy. Because obviously the people who showed but didn't buy is so much more nurtured. So I would definitely separate the follow-up sequence into two separate workflows. Then people who still didn't purchase, you're going to hit them with a low ticket offer, obviously School or WAP or any other platform. You're going to just send them that final call to action. You know, they haven't closed on the high ticket or the mid ticket. So the best thing you can do is get them on a sort of low ticket community, nurture them, build more trust. Because the best way to get someone to sell in the long term is get them to buy something right now. Just get them on the ascension ladder, get them in a low ticket. Obviously, one, you make an income from them already, so there's no losing in this situation. But also, if they purchased already, they've got so much more chance of closing for a high ticket offer long term, rather than you just reaching out to cold leads or just leads that have only got free value from you. So I would definitely recommend giving them some sort of offer, whether it is literally just a low ticket product or a paid community. But just make sure you follow up with that if they haven't closed. This could be like kind of a long-term sequence that goes on for like 1-2 weeks. and then finally follow up with this. However you want to do it, just make sure if they haven't purchased a high or mid ticket, you hit them with some sort of extra offer to make sure you're getting them to close on something. 1, to get the extra revenue in, and 2, just to get them on that value ladder so you can finally sell them in the long term. That's pretty much everything for the free training. Like, I hope you understand everything. You've got the platform, you've got the framework, you've kind of got the follow-ups and things like that, and you've also got the reminders for beforehand. Once you've sold them on these 3 different things that we've been through, at the end of the webinar, you've then got the goal of either high ticket offer booked calls. You're going to aim for a sort of 10% booking rate. This can be a lot higher, to be honest. You can get sort of 15-20% booking rates. It also depends on if you're selling to cold traffic through paid ads and things like that, your rate is going to be much lower. But if you're selling organic, warmer traffic, it's going to be much higher. It just depends. But I would always aim for a 10% booking rate. If you're selling directly on a webinar for like a mid-ticket, I would aim for a 5% conversion rate. However many people turned up, 5% of that, that's your aim. You're going to sell 5% of them people on the mid-ticket. And then obviously, finally, the last goal is to absolutely print, you know. You don't want to be sat there putting so much time into this, setting everything up, this 1 hour training, and then just not print anything at all. So the main goal is to make sure you actually print, have this full system in place, custom values set up, opt-in, thank you page, email and SMS, live training, no purchase automations, different platforms, the different mechanisms to sell, then finally the call to actions, and then print money. If you follow this framework and you dial in everything, you know, don't rush this process. Make sure you dial in absolutely everything. Make this the best thing ever. And you can just run this weekly or even however often you want to do it. But just run them often. Make sure you've got enough traffic to do so. Obviously, you can't really be doing a webinar if you haven't got the traffic to do so. But if you've got the traffic, you're ready to go. Dive in. Absolutely run this. Dial it in. Yeah, and I think it'll convert very highly for you. Let me know how you do, if you do use this system, and you do use webinars, or you already use webinars, but you haven't used a system similar. I really recommend you implement this exact sort of system with our follow-ups, our framework, things like that. But yeah, let me know how it goes. That's pretty much everything for this video. It's not being short, but you know, it's been quite concise, quite simple. This should be quite simple to follow. You can sort of pause, take a screenshot, for example, get some examples of the opt-in page, the thank you page. I've laid it out visually, so if you wanted to, you could just take a few screenshots and remind yourself. But that's been everything, I think. I'm going to dive in straight after this, recording some more videos on different subjects. If you want some more information as well on the ManyChat, the paid ads and things for growth operators, I'm going to dive into that in some separate videos as well. So make sure you drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop us a comment and let us know what you want to see as well. And the final thing as well, for me, if you want all of this pre-made, you want the opt-in page, the thank you page, the automations, the custom values, you want it all pre-made, plugged in for you, check out Operator Labs. I'm not going to go through and do a massive sales pitch here. It's just not worth doing. I'm not trying to sell you. This is literally just a low-ticket product because people ask me for my snapshots and things. So instead, we've made like a sort of plug-and-play system for growth operators where we just give you our Go High Level for free included, obviously saving you $497 a month. We're giving you all of our systems and automations. We're giving you weekly calls to answer all your questions and kind of go through a masterclass every week. Giving you all of our proven scripts, templates, contracts, a full in-depth course, and then obviously finally our plug-and-play system. So it is quite crazy what you get, so you can check that below if you want to. If not, no worries at all. You can definitely build this out yourself. It's not hard. But if you did want it plug-and-played, pre-made for you, just check the link below. You can see all the pricing and things on there. There is a 7-day free trial as well, so you don't have to kind of worry. If you jump in, you don't like it, feel free to leave. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you do drop a like, drop a subscribe, let us know what you're going to see next. And yeah, appreciate it. Peace.